Offline degrees or online degrees, what to choose? What should be your decision consideration? How should you be making a decision? Watch this video to know more. Let's start with an interesting data from a McKinsey report which says between 2012 to 2019, the distance only and hybrid students increased 36%. The growth was 36%. And in one single year, that growth came out to be 92% in 2020. What story is this data conveying? It is telling us that people are embracing online education, people are embracing online degrees. Now, the question remains, how should you approach it? And for that, we will analyze the pros and cons of both modes of study. So let's start with online studies. What are the pros? Flexibility. Flexibility in terms of time. You don't have to leave your job for getting the degree. You don't have to travel to another location. You don't have to commute every day. So it gives you flexibility of time. Flexibility of cost, because you don't need to spend money for your living expense, living in another city, or a higher tuition fee. It is easier, it's cheaper, and it's easier to get in because the colleges can deliver that education to a larger chunk of people. What are the cons? The cons is there is still some bit of iffiness in the industry from a recruitment perspective if you are having an online degree. Besides, you don't get the placement support that many of the offline campuses give you. The second big thing is you miss learning from your peers. Remember, learning comes from classroom or theory, learning comes from peers, and learning comes from doing. Now, of course, learning by doing is less when you're seeking a degree, but amongst the first two, I would say learning from peers is very important. And you precisely miss that or have a lower degree of that when you're getting into an online degree. Third is the learning context is weaker. By learning context, I do not necessarily mean the quality of the learning or the teaching that is happening, but it tends to get passive because you are in your home, you're in your couch, and you are just not too much bothered about the deadlines and what others are doing. You can shut off your camera, go to sleep. So it becomes very passive, right? Rather than being active. Now, if you shift to an offline degree, these are the opposites of these are the benefits. So when you are taking an offline course in a classroom in a proper institute physically, number one is if it's a good institute, you get placement support and industry views that degree from an employability perspective. The view is better if you have a classroom degree. Number two, you get to learn from your peers. You get to form a network. Number three, the learning context is stronger. Now, what are the cons? Precisely flexibility. You have to leave everything, be in the classroom at a particular point of time, maybe you settle in another city to get those done, and it's expensive. And most importantly, it is also difficult to get in if you talk about the Ivy Leagues or the top colleges, extremely difficult. So now, having seen the pros and cons of both kind of mode of degrees, let's kind of analyze how you should take a decision. So let's look at the 2x2 matrix. X-axis you have learning. By learning, I mean learning from the peers and also the learning context that comes with being part of an active learning environment where you are actively interacting with professors, where you have a higher commitment, the ecosystem is supporting you, or vice versa. On the y-axis, you have flexibility in terms of cost, lower cost, lesser time commitment from you in terms of full time, and of course, ease of getting in. So if you analyze quadrant 1, you have both of them. Can you tell me what kind of mode of study falls here? This is precisely, those classroom studies, but where delivery is poor. So, not good colleges, maybe under 100, below 100, so not in top 100 colleges, below top 100 colleges is what I'm talking about. Not good delivery in terms of not good teachers, not good students. So your learning is not really there, and you're also losing your flexibility. If you go to quadrant 2, you have great learning because we're talking of top 50, top 70, 80, 100 college. They deliver reasonably good amount of learning, and you have a great peer there to learn from. But of course, flexibility is not there because you're there full time. If you move to quadrant 4, that is where you get full flexibility, but your learning is less. Can you tell me what mode of study comes in? Of course, it has to be online, but this is where the program is not nicely designed. These are like recorded lectures, passive videos you are seeing. There's no Q&A session. There's no active cohort where you can work collaboratively to deliver assignments. So that is where your learning gets very passive. Your commitment starts floundering, and that is what I categorize that learning is not necessarily coming from online, even if you have flexibility in terms of online degrees. But if you move to quadrant 3, that is where you get best of both worlds. And this is where you have an active, it's virtual but active classroom. It's a live classroom. Professors are coming, giving you assignments. Your assignments are being, your exams are being proctored. You have to actively collaborate virtually with your cohorts, deliver assignments on time. And there are so many examples. You have INSEAD Global Masters Program. It's a hybrid program. You have Harvard School of Education. You can do 2-year masters with just 2 weeks being in the campus, and the rest of it is completely virtually, and you get a Harvard degree. And it's extremely difficult course to kind of pass, but you get the Harvard degree and you can do it online along with your job. So there are many such examples. Now, how should you be making a decision? For me, if learning is not there, I will completely remove that out of my decision criteria. So I'll remove quadrant 1 and quadrant 4. I'll black that out. Now what happens? How do I choose between quadrant 2 and quadrant 3? Now for that, we have to choose whether we are considering bachelor's degree or master's degree. Now if I'm looking forward to, or if you are looking for a bachelor's degree, I would very strongly recommend that you take up the offline course, you take up quadrant 2, simply because that is not the time when you want to do online, because you are anyways not doing a job at your 17th or 18th year of life. So you don't want flexibility truly. On the other hand, you want active learning environment. You want to learn from your peers. You want actually to interact with your professors, to the industry, and also get placement support so that you can get a job. So I would recommend take up quadrant 2, take up your offline campus. But if you want masters, there it depends whether you are happy with the job you are doing and you are doing your masters for enhancing your learning so that you can grow faster in your profession, or you want a career transition, because those would have different call to action. So let's assume you want to do a master's because you are already having a job, you love your job, but you want to learn more to expedite your career progress. That is when precisely you should do an online master's, definitely, because it will allow you to keep your job, it will allow you not to lose on the seniority with a gap, continue with your job, continue with the pay, but at the same time give you awesome learning which can fasten your career track. But if you are looking for career transition, then online may not be the best option. I would recommend consider a good college, consider quadrant 2, but make sure your college is an Ivy League college, top 20, 25 college, because it will provide you placement. It will also make sure it gives you that visibility in terms of employability, which is appreciated by the industry today. So please take that. So key takeaways from this discussion: number 1, online degrees are great. People are embracing it. You should not ignore it. B, if you're looking for a bachelor's degree, or don't choose an online degree, choose an offline course, offline classroom study, because it gives a holistic benefit and you don't want flexibility at that age. Number 3, if you're looking for masters, take up online education. If you want to expedite your learning, you are focused on learning in your given career track. But if you are focused on a career transition, mid or early, please go ahead with a good college of physical education, because that may be useful if you're looking at a career transition. I hope you like the session. Stay focused. Take care. Bye.